What's up? It's your boy Kevin to turn on this motherfucking YouTube shit. Wow, what the fuck?
What's up? It's your boy. Can't tell YouTube shit. Hey man, say man, we are lit to man. Turn. Take 2 motherfucking day. Show you outside. Big crip in the gang. Show you outside shit, man. Free Palestine, free Congo, Russia, do your thing, and takes and stand the fuck up. Each day is a new day, be a better version of yourself. Never let somebody bring you down, also back. Never let somebody tell you who you are, but also don't put yourself in a position you don't belong. Let's stay humble, do a revolution on the movement. Keep y'all right first. Come to the Black Hebrew Israelite as a real Jew. We out you. Alright. Boom. Take 2 motherfucking day. Show you outside. Big crip in it. Gang. Show you outside shit, man. Gang. Yo. Show you outside shit, man. Gang. You know what I'm saying? We got this situation, man. Has the rap game done changed? You know what I'm saying? Has all this legal actions done changed the rap game? You know what I'm saying? We gotta say the rap game always had legal actions. It might not be a lawsuit, but like with Ricos, it had been a lot of lawsuits. But you get what I'm saying? Like people be suing the rappers and shit like that. You get what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the thing about the Drake situation is, man, is UMG is a big, massive organization that ran by really white people, rich white people, who uses black people and manipulate and, you know, perpetuate, you know, get shit starting to get people get pop out and sent to jail and diseases. We all know it. But at the same time, you know, us black people, man, they just make off of our, you know what I'm saying, our culture and make it, you know, but we lit as black people. So they don't use us in general. But Drake is mad because, you know, they use his game on him. So let's get into it. Shout out to Louis, man. You know, we fuck with him, man. Drake and Burson war against the hip-hop media. The thing about Drake is, man, like, it's like he go against these white people, you know what I'm saying, who put him in position, like, low-key to win. And it's like, bro, you been using that whole shit to, like, manipulate the whole game and fuck niggas overs and take fuck niggas bitches and do all this goofy-ass shit. But then when Kendrick Lamar do some shit, what you did, and you was your game against you, now it's like, woe is me. What the fuck? Nigga, all y'all niggas been doing goofy ass shit using the box and shit.
Drake has always faced an uphill battle when it came to public perception. And one thing that hasn't exactly aided his quest to control the way he's viewed by the masses is certain commentators having plenty to say about him. Because of this, his dynamics with those who make their living from commentating on the music, movies, and mishaps of rappers have been a little complicated to say the least. Sometimes warranted, other times less so.
I really don't know. I think me and Drake will always have a love-hate relationship. It's like Skip Bayless and LeBron James. Even though he's great, I don't really have anything too good to say about him.
Granted, he did seem to have a lot of love for people like the UK's Tim Westwood and Canada's Nardwuar.
You know how good my London accent is? Oh, dude, when you were going, these guys came up to me like, yo, dog, you know what it is, dog? Big up yourself, bruv. You don't know Drizzy Drake, dog. It's crazy, right?
That is not a bad Westwood.
South London, dog. You know what it is. They talk like they want to shoot you in your face.
Talk crazy out there.
It's like, yo, dog, you know what it is? You're the man, dog. You're the man. Man, you're a legend, dog.
However, this was the exception, not the rule. But as the worm churned on how the world viewed the Canadian superstar, it seems like media figures of all kinds have been coming at him pretty hard, critiquing his management in the wake of his beef with Kendrick Lamar.
he doesn't get more money. Let's just assume that. But to go as far as this lawsuit goes and claims, to me says, hey, Drake, you know what this label is capable of. And likely they have used these tactics on your behalf.
Yeah.
Which also is
Congratulations, you played yourself.
To say that Drake took it badly would be an understatement, as he's now made his stance crystal clear.
Yo, for the hip-hop media, yes, Drake has told y'all, fuck you, for Kai Cenat's audience, Playboy Max's audience, and Bobby Alto's audience.
It's your boy Luesta, and this is why Drake is trying to destroy hip-hop media. But first, let me tell you about today's sponsor, Raycon. It's long time.
Oh, that shit lit. He got the Raycon.
Journalists and critics really came to a head during his recent interview with Bobby Altoff. Long after those two were apparently beefing, Bobby launched her new podcast by returning to the bedroom with Drake for another informal chat. Among many other things, one of the topics of conversation turned to their previous interview and the way that he seemed to relish how much it had angered what he sees as the old guard of hip-hop media.
Me essentially just recognizing somebody that I never met in my life, that I fully believed in, that I thought was really interesting and I wanted to have an interesting conversation with. It pissed off so many all these losers, these story journalists, and this guy and that guy who feels so entitled to this interview about, and Drake never does anything for this type of media, and it just made people so angry.
In fact, he believed that he expanded the horizons of where rappers could go to promote their work, and wasn't afraid to congratulate himself for doing so.
It changed a lot of things on TikTok. It changed a lot of things in the streaming world. It made people more comfortable to go sit down with somebody that they've never sat down with before. Not to overly take credit, but when I do see somebody who keeps to themselves a Nicki Minaj, go to Kai Cenat's house, or these musicians go to a guy like Playboy Max's studio and start making songs with him, I feel we did usher in the idea of just you can be from two completely different walks of life. Celebrities are not here. That we're not. The goal is not to be some unattainable kid for your whole life.
Drake not only claimed that he opened the door for rappers to use streamers to get their message out, but he even went as far as saying that all of hip-hop media was corrupt.
For example, when I'm dropping an album, right, they have phone calls, media phone calls, deciding what stance so-and-so is going to take within the first hour or within the first 3 hours or within the first 12 hours, so that this person doesn't overlap a person.
I'm going to
say that I hate the album. I don't know what it's going to bring yet, but I'm going to take this stance. Or literally, it's about, I hate to say first responders. That sounds terrible. Shout out to the first responders. We're not talking about all you lovely people. We're talking about first responders in media and in comments. But my advice to you is the fastest comments and the ones that are meant to sit at the top with the most replies. It's a purposeful action, and it's not the genuine reaction to how people feel about you.
Even if that clashes with Ebro's own claim that he had spies trying to influence things.
I gotta send a congratulations, you played yourself to Rambo, and he runs the Hot 97 social media account.
OVO Rambo?
He actually works for Drake, and he lives in Toronto. And the reason I'm bringing this up is just so everybody can start paying attention to what's really happening out here. Because one of the stations we're on is Hot 97 in New York City. It's probably our, I guess I call it our flagship. And so if there's ever anything, with this whole Drake and Kendrick thing, if there's ever anything going on, you'll see that it's maybe not covering Kendrick and will absolutely be covering Drake. By the way, when I woke up this morning, every blog was posting that clip. Not the Hot 97 Instagram.
There's a post.
What does the post say?
It says, Kendrick Lamar in Toronto with tight security, flanked by a heavy police presence. And then there's a video of just a lot of police.
The reason I'm doing this on the radio, I want to see if this makes it onto the Hot 97. The headline should be, OVO Rambo, who runs the Hot 97 Instagram, works for Drake. Why won't he also post about what's happening with Kendrick? And the answer's kind of woven into the title. That's why I said it like that.
Overall, it's opposing views like these that really show us just how much there has been a growing disconnect between Drake and the media voices that once acted as hip-hop's cultural gatekeepers before the internet era. And with Drake insisting that he's reinventing the media wheel, it's unsurprisingly going to ruffle some feathers with some of his old rivals.
Not least of all, Joe Budden and his crew, who
felt like the reunion of Bobby was calculated and likely had an unspoken financial component too.
Him and whatever voice he picked for the day also doing the dry humor thing with the
agenda that you can see.
Above all, they ultimately weren't buying the idea that it was anything revolutionary.
But the reason what he did was change the way that people talk because he sat with someone that's not like
that he didn't know and he didn't have a relationship with. When you show up on Bobby's podcast and attempt to spin, it looks like you care more about it than you're letting on.
Once again, it seems like Joe and his podcast have been a thorn in the side of Champagne Papi. And ultimately, this is fitting when you consider that Budden is one of the people he's had the most friction with of all. And in all likelihood, it's contributed to the hatred that he's harboring for every older figure in hip-hop who make their living from the podcast mic rather than the studio. To understand the root of this beef, we need to go way back almost a decade prior. After a few cheerful interactions back in the day, when Joe was still an active MC, the animosity between himself and Drake began when Budden went off on Drizzy's fourth album, Views.
For a nigga that is crowned king of introspection, right? What has he told you different from Take Care to this album? And it's the same thing told not as dope as you already told me. 40, you sound amazing. 40 continues to progress. Drake, you do not. I said the other day on this podcast, I miss the Drake that starts the waves, not hops on other waves. And I'll say it again. I miss Drake that pushes the fucking agenda.
In the aftermath, Drake sent some lines in Joe's direction on No Shopping with French Montana, spitting, "I'm not a one-hit wonder, they know all my stuff. You let me turn into the guy that you almost was." Left feeling disrespected, this would spawn full diss tracks from Budden in Making Me Murderer and Woke. Not to mention Drake fans infamously invading Joe's home and getting chased down the street by him.
And because I'm super petty in my head and had absolutely nothing better to do on a Sunday, I said, and because I'm a little off sometimes, I said, I'm going to catch one of them and I'm going to bring them in here and I'm going to beat their f***ing ass. Joe Budden. Crazy little nigga.
All right. I'm sorry.
Oh, Joe.
Sir, I'm sorry.
Joe Budden
I'm sorry.
But even with all the bad blood between them back then, it's fair to say that as he transitioned to media, Joe seemed eager to let bygones be bygones. At times, he admitted that Drake surpassed the cultural boundaries of rap.
Drake is a superstar, a pop superstar. He has transcended hip-hop. There's nothing that anybody in hip-hop can do single-handedly to ruin him.
Fact.
That's just a fact.
We talked about that this week.
I mean, yes, nobody's oblivious to that.
There were even other occasions that he appeared to have his back on everyday struggle, prior to academics making that his entire personality.
Gotta lay something down if you're making threats. Gotta say something now. Don't hold your breath. And with him saying that to me, he was saying, listen, if y'all got a problem with all these claims I'm making, say something right now.
Is Drake scared of Kendrick? Let me get my direct question.
Yes.
Although there are other times where he has plenty of valid criticism for him, including famed breakdown of Teenage Fever, examining his lyrics through the lens of Drake being heartbroken over Georgia Smith curving him.
No, all right, don't worry about it. Let me keep going. You say the word, I'm on the way. One word. It's a go.
I'm through.
Do it.
My parents asleep.
This shit feel like Teenage Fever. She ain't neither.
I'm trying to make it sound like shells.
Y'all gonna look back one day and say, oh, it was right there. Y'all gonna look back and be like, damn it, we were complicit.
But at this time, it seemed like Drake was flying so high that there was no conceivable way that the media could bring him down. So it was interesting when the two eventually became so cordial to the point that they appeared on Instagram Live together.
But all the other OVO dudes kick it with me.
I know. Everybody.
You're the only one that, like, avoids me for some strange reason.
Never avoid you. I just don't see you. We're never in the same place.
Because I'm too broke.
I didn't want to say it.
But in a move that corresponded with Drake's transition to interviews with people like Bobby Altoff and Caleb Presley of Barstool Sports, Joe inadvertently reignited the feud by tearing Drake's For All the Dogs record limb for limb.
He rapping for the children. Yo, dog, I had to look up how old this was when I finished listening to the album. You are 36. Get the away from some of these younger niggas and stop fucking these 25-year-olds.
You can't fuck 25-year-olds?
Adult Drake rapping for adult people.
Damn, they keep on pushing the age up. 18 is legal. 21 is most definitely so legal. Then 25 is a grown-ass women.
Go find some your age. Hang out with them.
Like, bruh,
get some of that sauce.
Summit Series was never just
so if
made
you
for
40, you can't fuck a
mountains.
25-year-old?
It was made for those.
But instead of acknowledging that Joe maybe had a point, Drake responded by flaunting his wealth.
So
you left music behind to do what you were doing in this clip because this is what actually pays your bills. You switched careers because the things that pop into your brain had you broke living check to check. And the raps you write had 450 men showing up to your shows in dusty Nietzsche jeans to screw up their face to Mood Music 29 and pretend you are the GOAT to any artist that's doing what they feel is right. Don't let these opinions affect your mindset after the fact. This guy is the poster child of frustration and surrendering. If you need to put it in simpler terms, Drizzy concluded, I own a 767. He owns a modest house in the 973 and flies first class on special occasions. From there, it just continued to get worse, with Drake sliding into Joe's DMs to make it clear that although his feelings were hurt, he still wanted to make it crystal clear that he felt he was above him due to what he'd achieved in music.
Yeah, it sounds like he thinks that this is like somebody put a battery in his time. Yeah, I'm not sure why you went crazy like that. I like the album. This ain't 2016. I got no beef. Keep it music. I don't give a what you listen to in your free time because the people's opinion I care about don't have free time.
Following this explosive incident, Joe took an informal hiatus from talking about Drake at all on the pod. But it's no surprise that after everything went down, he felt Drake's war with K-Dot was his reckoning. He even famously danced to Not Like Us as he declared a flawless victory for Kendrick Lamar.
He's white, and he's Jewish, and he had too much dip on his
Fake Jew.
You've been behind the scenes, hitting baby moms, sending money to yo, dog, you've been back and sending messages to this wife. This been a sack of behind the scenes, and because he got fans and had Lucy, everybody just gets to turn a blind eye.
Around this time, Joe revealed that he fundamentally believed Drake was a bad person amid claims that he was angry that Metro Boomin couldn't supply a beat after the producer's mom died in tragic fashion. While in another episode, he cited Drake's hypocrisy in the face of the lawsuit, where he pulled some of the same tricks in the past, including when he was beefing with Budden himself.
The Karen move, because if you a Karen, be a Karen, but you code switch because you at the game with, you running around with this that has been threatening Kendrick, saying I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna do X, Y, Z. I'm not naming no names, but you know who you running around with, and you know what you're doing, and you know what you're threatening.
As Drake seemed to be miscalculating every decision he made, Joe Budden continued to scrutinize his every move, whether it would be shading him for mean-mugging DeMar DeRozan or commenting on the ongoing legal battle as though it were a courtroom drama.
It's never the conflict. What he did with the conflict is where I'm like, and all that standing at the game, the ice grilling, the face, we respectful, so we ain't gonna say it. You a bitch.
Despite Drake's initial silence on the matter of Budden's analysis, history should have taught us that he would eventually respond to what he'd see as Joe's provocations. Soon, it came in the form of some shots on the track Gimme a Hug, praising co-host Melissa Ford as a legend from the 6, but saying that he hates to see her with a dick, a line which they then reacted to on the pod.
I hate to see it. Got a lip trembling.
Melissa Ford, you a legend from the 6. Hate to see you with a dick sucker.
Hey! Rewind that again.
From there, he kept up the mind games, sending Melissa a care package to the podcast studio.
Damn!
I do not know who they're from. I have no clue who they're from.
I'm gonna read this. My favorite legend from the 6. Oh, you said Canada Dry?
Damn! Drake on a picture down, bitch!
I don't drink that. Nah, I'm good.
But for once, it seemed like Drake was truly on the back foot, with Joe claiming that he wasn't gonna buy into when Drizzy was at a low ebb in his career.
But yes, for me, game over at the top. It's over. It is over. And I'm glad to, because I'm done. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Hey, Drake, don't shoot at me now that you ice cold. I'm not doing it back and forth.
But in a classic case of Joe and Drake's strained dynamic, allowing for both praise and poisonous jabs, nothing of what Drake said about him on the record stopped him from labeling some Sexy Songs for You, alongside Party Next Door, as one of the best Album of the Year candidates.
And I'm saving a hot take on that album. I don't want to say it now. Yeah, because I look like too much of a phony. But it's not many skips on it. It's better later. It was a better later album. Yeah.
With their beef heating up again, Academics claims Drake even times his releases to hurt Joe and his crew's coverage, dropping music when they're too late to fully react.
Always calling cap on Joe Budden, except I actually believe Joe Budden this time. Joe Budden records on Friday. I
as soon as that done recording, he did drop it. The song came out and leaked. Remember, Joe went in, and trust me, I never want to believe that Drake even would schedule or leak something at that time. I think he definitely leaked it at that point that they couldn't have a word to say about it before their Saturday pod, which they do on Friday around 3 o'clock.
But ultimately, they are still regularly discussing him in the wake of the Kendrick beef, even if they suggested that he's no longer at the peak of his powers.
I'm not feeling any of this music, but Drake not being great hurts. It hurts the ecosystem. Things are not the way they're supposed to be if he's not great.
But if you ask Drake's supporters, the invalidity of this take is clear, and stems from his name still being at the tip of everyone's tongue, including Joe himself. If any of this was true, they wouldn't be talking about him. This ain't weird to you? This guy is a corpse dead in the water, and a total loser that is not from the culture, according to them. And they still talk about him every minute of the day. In the case of Joe and Drake, things evidently remain as complex as ever, and in no small part, due to the fact that in spite of it all, there's an element of respect there. But when it comes to other figures in the media, who didn't once have an impressive pedigree as an MC, the Sixth God can be much less forgiving. A prime example of a man who's been a massive contributor to the combative narrative around Drake in the media is the renowned Elliott Wilson. A true veteran of hip-hop journalism, Elliott has been a staple of cultural conversations for decades. At one stage, he and Drake were once on good terms, with Elliott and his co-host Brian B. Miller even being granted an interview with Drizzy on Rap Radar, where they didn't shy from asking tough questions. Everything from Pusha T's beef to the long-standing culture vulture conversation, which surrounds his work with grime and dancehall artists.
And musically, like when it comes to criticism, like you said, mentioned earlier, how some people might say, hey, Drake's appropriating this culture of music or, for your own personal gain. How do you feel about those kind of critiques?
I think that it's kind of a similar thing. They're curated by a bunch of people who just weren't on this boat to begin with. Even the definition of appropriating a culture is not supporting that culture, doing songs with people who are deeply rooted in that culture, giving opportunity to people who are in that culture. That's not appropriating. Appropriating is taking it for your own personal gain and denying that it was ever inspired from this. That's the true disservice that somebody could do to the UK, to dancehall, to Afro beats. Me, I've always, anytime I embark on one of those journeys, I ensure that I'm not only paying all due respects verbally, but I make a point to give opportunity to people that I respect.
It seems like that's been a constant theme throughout all of your albums. A lot of new artists' looks.
Yeah, 100%. Again, I'm not one of those people that can be inspired by something and be like, oh, well, that was inspiring, thanks, and then just move on with it, under my arm.
They try to say call me my style songs too. I don't know, man. It's a lot of shit that you go
honor
looking
the
for
person
some shit,
that
bro.
handed me off the football before I ran for the touchdown.
But those days where they saw eye to eye are now a distant memory, with Drake appearing in town ruining Wilson any way he can. Their feud began after the initial Bobby Altoff interview.
Am I your type?
I'd do it.
Thank you.
I'd do it.
Not an it.
I know, I just felt
You do it? I asked, am I your type? And you said I do it.
When the video dropped, hip-hop purists, Elliott Wilson included, argued that it came off shallow compared to the work journalists like him actually do. Moment of clarity. No disrespect to Lil Bo. Yachty's convo with the boy was comfy and had some cool moments, said Elliott in a now-deleted tweet which took aim at Drake's new media campaign. I was more so clowning the comedy shenanigans with outsiders to our culture. It would be great to hear Drake speak to us again, even if it ain't me. Now, Elliott's tweet wasn't the only critique of Drake doing something like the Altoff interview, with even academics taking issue with this direction.
You're in bed with a fucking mimosa in your fucking hand and painted fingernails.
Crazy,
diabolical. We thought you came here to be ranked in the
diabolical,
with Drake. I thought that all he cared about was legacy, and I thought I was so dope because being a
pop star, he doesn't have to care about legacy, but he does care about where he falls in the litany of all-time rappers. But even now, I'm watching, I'm like, he's doing an interview with like some weird niggas from bar stools. He's doing interviews with some bimbos who don't even know what's going on. And then I looked at him like, yo, maybe I'm doing too much, because maybe that's just comedy. This is undoubtedly the LeBron of our generation of music, or him and Kendrick, whatever you might call him, after Jay pretty much left it. You know, Kanye's in a realm of his own. Let's not talk about Kanye, and also Wayne as well. However, the nigga don't really do interviews with hip-hop outlets. That's just a fact. That woman seems to be a woman that most likely is a Taylor Swift fan. She doesn't know about culture, and I think that's the fan base that Drake is poaching nowadays.
But even if his unofficial PR officer had his reservations, it was Elliott he held a grudge against. And as always, Drake waited for the right moment to strike. Drizzy picked his moment well, waiting until Elliott Wilson was reporting on Rolling Loud to troll him for being frankly too old for that. LOL, man shits on not coming to his platform for a second time. And now, Elliott's 10 toes down, doing Yes Jules run-up interviews at Rolling Loud. He wrote, along with laughing emojis, "Just admit the youth took over, big dog." It was deployed to damage Elliott's credibility, and may well have done that, with even some of Drake's critics believing he had a point.
Elliott Wilson is like still like, I watch his interviews and stuff, so like, are you saying it to say like he's washed?
No. I think, doing interviews and having conversations is one thing. Running up on artists at Rolling Loud, that isn't something I want to see Elliott Wilson do. But Elliott Wilson to be the world-renowned journalist that he is, I don't want to see him doing that. For me, that's a young person's gig right there.
From there, the battle lines were drawn. When things got worse around the Kendrick and Drake beef, as a reporter, Elliott believed that he was doing his job by relaying the events of the lyrical back and forth. But Drake disagreed and believed that Wilson was covertly leaking information and confronted him about it in the DMs.
He actually, I'm gonna give you the puzzle. He sent me something that I can't say what he sent me, because if I tell you what he sent me, it reflects what he sent me. So when he dropped Family Matters, it was just like, I was like, yo, you dropping this tonight? Give me back like yeah, whatever, LOL, like, then he sent me a rat emoji. And I'm like, I hit him with the 50 cents. I was like, what the say me for? Like, blah, blah, like, but I didn't like that shit. Don't send me a rat emoji. Chip, I just feel disappointed by the whole shit. I don't know, it just bothers me.
Since then, Elliott has tried to get on with his role in the culture, although he has claimed he is purposefully avoiding Toronto due to their high-profile tension.
Something might happen, like you go to the grocery store, the little thing might go ding, 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 ding. You know, you didn't steal nothing. Because we have that trauma of us being a fella.
That's real shit.
So I'm like, I gotta go get my paperwork and like get checked to go into this country. Like, this is big. Like, this nigga does not live where we live. He has his USA roots in Memphis and all that shit, but we had to go to his country to celebrate him. But so yes, if I'm not cool with him when everybody knows I was once cool with him, I don't feel comfortable going to Toronto. And that's not even just on some like
fuck them motherfuckers. They racist as hell down Toronto. Bitch, they all white people.
They
There's some black people in that bitch getting hood and gangsters, but you know what I'm saying?
These niggas is thirsty in like one cloud. Like, oh, I saw Elliott outside the shiny spot that Kendrick talked about. It's like, I don't want that cornball shit. So yeah, if I'm not 100 with this nigga, I was like, I'm not gonna go to his country.
And even though there is some real heat on him from Drake, Elliott admitted that he'd still follow his journalist instincts and take the interview with Drizzy at a moment's notice.
You're at the one hotel.
Let's do it.
And you get a text from Kendrick that says, yo, listen, I have a window from 5 to 6. I'm open.
Big window.
You want to do an interview real quick?
Yes, sir.
And you say, okay, cool, I'm on my way. 10 minutes later, Drake texts you to saying, yo, listen, I'm flying out at 7 p.m. I'm free 5 to 6. If you want to get this interview real quick, let me know. I'll send the car for you.
He can find a loophole on this one. I'm going to change it just a Both of them text you at 4:30 p.m. and say at 5 p.m.
I'll push you one back. I'm getting both.
I can only do 5 to 5.
You can't push nothing back.
Which interview are you taking?
How? You can't. You don't have the power to push Kendrick Lamar Drake.
I'm taking Drake. Above Kendrick, yes.
Why? Why?
Because that's the story.
Drake is the one who has to respond now. Kendrick is all he's had to say. Nobody cares what Kendrick has to say anymore.
Maul asked this question off mic. I said Drake right away too.
Talk to him.
There's more questions that we have.
Interview,
Although he isn't exactly angling to get into Drake's good graces again either. After Drake dropped 100 gigs, complete with shots at A$AP Rocky.
Let's do it. My final unimpressed thing about those songs is I'm finding out now that those songs are actually replies to everything again. He's dissing Rocky on his song. My mother, Mr. I rent 10 summers like Mustard. Come on, dog. You're not in the battle anymore. You lost. His loss. It's over. The battle you're in now is for your legacy in hip hop. You're not in a battle with these guys anymore. That's all I have to say. I'm done.
So okay.
The 20v1's over. He's in a battle for his legacy. He's in his battle for his place in hip hop history, his legacy.
But what
not
about
with those individuals? That battle's over. He was declared the loser. His loss. The sum of his loss. That's it. So why are you dissing them? ASAP jabs at the end of the song. Like, oh, goo, you diss Rocky. Rocky can't even catch a hit. You dissing Rocky. Leave Rocky alone.
You just
let Rocky catch a hit. I like that record Rocky put out. It charted like 89. You know, slow start. You know, Rocky's dope. We all love Rocky. Yeah. But there's no need to have this back and no one's here for some back and forth with you with ASAP Rocky after you lost to Kendrick Lamar. 20v1 thing is over.
Now fixated on Drake in a way that many deem unhealthy. His former co-host Beta has suggested the whole situation has damaged his credibility. This doesn't even appear to be sour grapes, as Elliott seemed to be mindful of this, even hinting towards his standing in the world that he made a living in being hurt after it all went down with Drake.
Elliott Wilson repair his relationship with Drake. Some would say it's damn near impossible.
It's cool.
Nothing's impossible.
I think I would have to re-earn his respect. I think I'd have to go on a run and I have to go on for media a Kendrick Lamar like run where Elliott's back in the conversation as one of the best is doing it. His content's amazing and earn his respect outside of whatever feelings he may have about how I feel about what happened to him and Kendrick. I think it's that I have to earn. But a lot of people look at me that way. Like they want to view me as I did a lot of great things then, and like even if I do cool things now, not view me as like in the top tier. Get mad if I'm number 5 on a list and things like that. So I think I'd have to earn his respect with actions outside of it to then be willing to say, let's sit down and see if we can have a conversation.
With his position seeming less stable than ever, Elliott's situation is one where you can see that tangling with Drake has been detrimental to his career, making him the first true example of Drake's campaign to discredit and destroy the media taking effect. And for Elliott, the biggest issue he faces is that it's clear that at least on some level, he ultimately wants to be liked by Drake, and if he let that go, then perhaps he would be immunized against it. Just look at the fortunes of one man who doesn't seem to cherish Drake's respect at all. In fact, he seems to actively thrive on his hate. This, of course, is Charlamagne the God. In case you weren't aware, the problems between them have dated back for years. When he first came out the gate, the Breakfast Club hosts always targeted him for being soft.
3 sexual orientations out here. It's gay, straight, and Drake. And Drake is just a whole different type of breed. It don't got nothing to do with nothing other than he's just a different type of breed, man. Drake's used to people laughing at him and talking about him behind his back from high school. So that was the who's laughing at me post. I hear y'all laughing at me. They're supposed to be my friends. I think Drake can rap. You know what I'm saying? I think he can rap. He's a dope rapper.
You gotta talk to me in my face, bitch.
I just think personally he's a corny guy.
And whether he'd admit it now or not, this hurt a young, less calloused Drake's
That's kind of crazy how Dame Daz came on his ass.
Turn on like Power 105 and hear some nerd telling them that I'm gay or they have pictures of me, or that to me is like, why, man? Like, for what? You know, why are you using your job to exactly? Like, you're a real loser.
Hey, Glass, you're a dick, my guy.
Bother anybody.
You're a dickhead.
I'm not a foul artist. You know, I'm not out here looking for trouble. I try and make beautiful music. I'm trying to be a positive role model. That's
you fucking poser.
No new friends.
At every turn, Charlamagne seemed intent on prodding at Drake until he finally seemed to gain some respect for him around the Meek Mill beef. Drake even famously sent him bottles in what seemed at the time like a peace offering of sorts.
Guy Drake's really living his raps, man. Somebody was gonna make him buy bottles for Charlamagne. He bought 6 bottles of Don Perignon. You know, the whole 6 thing. No, I didn't buy these because I wouldn't spend this kind of money with a card. I said, let's be friends, Aubrey Graham. Hey, man, all I can say is salute to that guy. Salute to Drake. He's having a great week.
From there, any war between them seemed to have been forgotten for years on end. But it would be renewed in 2023 when Slime You Out dropped, with Charlamagne remaining adamant that the track was a flop.
I think Drake can rap. You know what I'm saying? I think he can rap. He's a dope rapper. But I hate when he sings. And I just think personally he's a corny guy. No new friends, no new friends, no new friends, no. Who talks like that?
In response, Drake took to IG and labeled him not only an off-brand Morris chestnut, but tried his best to completely downplay Charlamagne's cultural relevance. Are you okay, Leonard? You kind of weirding me out, G. Like you really obsessed with me or something for years. Like you look in the mirror and wish you saw my reflection type shit. Whatever you gotta do, let it out. I'm sure your 135 loyal fans will stand by you. Fucking goof. To no one's surprise, Charlemagne was pretty unmoved by it, making light of the whole situation on the radio the very next day.
But Drake and I plan this out every time he drops an album. I'm part of the album rollout. He drops a record, I critique it. That brings more attention to the record, more attention to the project. I keep telling Drake he doesn't need me to do that. He's Drake, but for whatever reason, he wants me to do it, so I oblige, okay?
I don't believe you.
I'm just telling you, it wasn't always like that, though. Back in the day, I can honestly say I was hating on Drake for fun. It was hilarious, at least to me. Like, he posted one this morning that I forgot I even said, where I said it was a sexual orientation. Straight and Drake. Yes. Hilarious, all right?
Hilarious.
But that's just hate, okay? But after back-to-back, and he sent the bottles with the note, let's be friends, we came to an understanding, and we agreed whenever he drops certain songs, I will hate on them in order to bring more attention to the record. I don't think he needs it. I think it's crazy that he wants me to still do that, but,
So you actually like Slime You Out, whatever?
No.
Then came the familiar turning point of the Drake and Kendrick beef. In the wake of Like That dropping with that explosive K-Dot verse, Charlemagne already felt Kendrick would have the upper hand when it came to bars.
Right now, Kendrick is stinging the rap, is just waiting.
I got confidence in Drizzy.
Waiting.
I got confidence in Drizzy.
Confidence to do what?
To rap.
Yeah, he can rap, but he ain't got nothing on Kendrick Lamar.
No, he gonna come back. I don't know when.
He better
Hopefully
keep
soon.
He better keep
Not like this.
Not
Not like
He
this.
better keep doing it.
Nah, he got
no mind.
Yeah, we acting like Drake ain't got bars. Oh, is that what we
Drake
saying?
is phenomenal. Kendrick and Drake will be a phenomenal matchup. I'm just telling you, he don't want it with Kung Fu Kenny. That's my. He don't want it with Kung Fu Kenny.
However, he did feel that Drake applied pressure after push-ups dropped.
Just gave Drake all that props and that he fought him back.
I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm just sitting back watching as a hip-hop fan. But the truth is, I don't care about any of those other rappers. I don't care about Ross replying to Drake. We are here for the main event. Drake, I don't need you taking no more fights before we get to what we came to see, which is Kendrick. And Kendrick, you on the clock. It's all on Kendrick now. Kendrick has been calling for this. He's been asking for this for several years, and he got what he wanted, so now it's time to show and prove.
All in all, Charlemagne believed Kung Fu Kenny was the clear winner, even if Drake put up a noble fight, suggesting that it was only some tactical errors that killed him.
No.
Correct.
He lost because of strategy.
You lost because of fucking strategy.
But
Go back to the song list. Okay, so Meet the
That
Green
nigga had the strategy. He had the
neutralized
strategy.
family
Jake
matters.
was just coming in that bitch, ha kiki.
This is where
That nigga Kendrick came out there. I'm trying to bury your ass.
He did what we all thought
I'm
Drake
looking
was
for a
going to do.
body, nigga.
He put out the diss pop.
Yep.
When you put out the
That
diss
nigga
pop,
looking for
you
a body.
win. And by the way, it's not like Drake is dead after Not Like Us drops. You know when Drake dies? When he drops The Hard Part 6.
No, for real.
And you know why?
That's real.
Because, number one, you wanted to get back at Kendrick because Kendrick did your move by giving you a back-to-back, and he made the back-to-back 616 in L.A. So you're doing twice. You're doing two things that Drake does. I give you a back-to-back, and I give you a timestamp record. That's your move, Drake. Drake is stewing on that, clearly. Okay, I'm going to give him The Hard Part 6 then, because that's Kendrick's series of songs. The Hard Part 5 was the last one. He gives us The Hard Part 6. No, Drake. You were supposed to come back with a record.
You supposed to diss that nigga.
And as
You
Drake
supposed to diss his
scrambled to
mama,
handle the
his
fallout,
granny,
he foresaw a
his
world where
cousins,
Drake
his
brought it to the
nephews, nigga.
courtroom.
You supposed to pull some shit out on the nigga. Diss him all, nigga.
Lawsuit.
You should have cashed on that bitch ass nigga. He did it.
Listen.
Why? He just sue all
He
the
just
investigators
crashed
on
on.
Twitter have been
He
pulling
just
all the
crashed out,
stories.
nigga.
The investigators on Twitter ain't got shit to lose. Let me tell you something. Drake is half white.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is what Drake was talking about, saying he's gonna go Karen.
Drake mama's side of the family is like, oh no, Aubrey. No. This man is out here calling you a pedophile. Listen, there's probably people at Nike. There's probably people at Universal. There's people that got real vested interest in Drake. That is a multi-billion-dollar entity. They're like, you gotta protect your name. Call that rap shit. Call your cousin. Call your cousin. Who's the lawyer? All right.
But then he just went through Kendrick right.
Who said Kendrick was wrong? Drake knows he's half white.
No, I'm just saying what Kendrick was just saying how he don't know his black. Like
He's not suing.
I'm saying, like I can see him suing.
From then on out, it appeared that Charlemagne was all in on Kendrick and only furthered his position since.
Successful, what is the big
And the
Drake
dang, that nigga just more calculated,
I want
man.
Drake to know that there's no bigger stage
He was
than
more
culture. As
calculated.
Kendrick said, you can't fake influence. Way before the Grammys, way before the Super Bowl, that record was already out of here. Okay, and Drake gonna have to sue the world because I watched everybody in MetLife Stadium sing that song word for word. Like, Kendrick didn't have to say a word. He didn't say a word.
As for Drake, he claimed he was suffering, clowning his now infamous speech at Nostalgia in Toronto, which was supposed to be defiant, but came across more like the words of a scorned ex.
You know, bros, this little Jack, y'all my real bros. That ass. Oh, yeah. After a breakup and shit. Yeah, they tried to end your life, Drake. You should have came back.
Already clear by then that he felt like Drake was mishandling everything. Charlemagne then dissed him over the very lawsuit that he'd predicted.
But even with Drake's huge fan base, don't think for 1 second, whatever the label UMG was doing,
courtesy of these many takedowns of him, it's really no surprise that Drake sees Charlemagne as everything wrong with the media. Particularly when he's admitted that being in hip-hop media makes discussion of Drake not only unavoidable, but profitable.
Drake has a thing with these motherfucking chains, though. What is that? I think he's really a fan. I think that the thing, I don't even like talking about Drake, because I feel like I just be talking about him too goddamn much.
You a fan? Famous ass motherfuckers, super famous. They buying their subs and subscribers, nigga. They doing all that shit, Bob.
What am I supposed to say? It's like he does shit like this, and it comes up, we supposed to not talk about.
This is the genius of him. He always stays in the headlines. It is brilliant.
Okay.
I don't know that he's comfortable with the negative which I put on him, but he's great at staying in the headlines.
Yet, even with everything that Charlemagne has done to Drake and said about him, there is still that element of understanding that the Breakfast Club host would never go down without a fight, but where there seems to be understanding of the platform Charlemagne has in its immovable nature. Other figures in hip-hop's journalistic community that Drake really seems to have active disdain for. This is where Rob Markman comes in. Best known by modern audiences as head of artist relations at Genius, Drake has sent plenty of sly shots his way, even popping up in the comments of Joe Budden's Instagram Live to throw some hate his way. Play Story of Add It On right now and see if it rings off. I promise the only person that's gonna know the words is Rob Markman. With comments like that, it's obvious that he viewed him as a nerd or a hip-hop head who would favor Pusha over him. But it seems that even if Drizzy himself didn't value Markman, his team did. During the beef with Kendrick, Rob exposed alleged underhandedness from Drake's team and trying to get favorable coverage out of him.
I'll tell you one further, and I'm going to be honest, and I haven't said this, and I was approached during the battle by a team connected with the OVO side and asked me to show the boys some love. Again, I was being as unbiased as possible. I was calling it like I said, but they asked me, yo, we know you're unbiased. Really said it. We know you're unbiased, and we like that you're unbiased and you really try to call it straight, but can you show the guys some love? And no money was offered. No, absolutely no money was offered. They kind of offered some things, some information, some access, and said, yo, and we'll make it that you could play his songs in your videos. We'll whitelist it. Ultimately, I declined.
And at this stage, it became a personal issue for Drizzy.
Now, let me remind y'all, Drake don't like this nigga at all, okay? And, what's so funny, too? These guys know it. Drake tells them. When Drake talks to them, he'll tell them, yo, dog, you're a goof. Your opinion is bad. You're the worst journalist. Fuck you. Fuck out of here. Drake, I ain't gonna lie. When I see how Drake talk to these niggas, directly, it's disrespectful. Drake is disrespectful. This is how Drake's talking to them. And I'm trying to tell y'all, Drake didn't like them before the battle, during the battle, after the battle.
Undeterred by the chatter, Rob claimed he didn't buy Drake's justification for the UMG lawsuit.
To be called a pedophile in any capacity sucks. I get it. That's a tough stain, and personally, I don't believe that Drake is one. And I haven't met anybody in real life, meaning off the internet, who believes that Drake is a pedophile. But this is a rap battle, and a lawsuit against UMG or Kendrick or in any shape, form, or fashion, it just ain't the way. The one thing that Drake and his team is lacking in this is accountability. If you knew you were up for renegotiation, why engage in the battle anyway, knowing that a loss of any kind can weaken your position? But once you engage, why not just keep it a friendly fade? Remember, this battle really started about who's the best rapper. The big three is just Big Me. In my opinion, it started getting personal when Drake mentioned Whitney and push-ups. Yes, then Dot accused Drake of being a bad father. And then Drake accused Kendrick of domestic violence and family matters and said the baby might be Dave Freeze. Being labeled a domestic abuser is tough, man. Being labeled a pedophile, nasty. But you can't slap someone in the face and then get mad when they punch you in the nose.
Yeah. Although, there were other times where he said any personal feelings aside, he even cut him some slack in other conversations, going as far as to defend his position in hip-hop to Justin Hunt.
It's past California.
It's way past beef in general. So that song is a unifying anthem.
So, absolutely. So, and I get this
you know you fucked up when it's
as we're having this conversation,
cultural anthem.
it's like people want to know where you stand. I've always been clear of where I stood and how I see things, but I'm not ready to throw Drake out in the trash. Oh, he was never hip hop. He was never one of us. Listen, it's a song. Not Like Us is a song, and I get it. Hip hop is better off for that Drake run. It took hip hop to another place.
If this was an opportunity to appease Drake or his fans, then it clearly didn't work. Because soon, a resurfaced clip of Rob with Tory Lanez, where the journalist couldn't finish Lil Wayne lyrics, gave Drake a chance to jab at him.
Some niggas cry wolf. I'm on that dry kush. But when it come to this paper, I stack bucks. You heard what I said? I can put you on your feet or put some money on your head. Life is not cheap. You're better off dead. If you can't pay the fee, shout out my nigga Fee. See, every nigga at the door, they'll get a key. Outside looking in. Now tell me what you see. This is about money. This is bigger than me. I told my homie, don't kill him. Bring the nigga to me. Listen, don't miss. You fucking with the hitman. Kidnap a nigga and make him feel like a kid again.
Of course, this goof couldn't finish the bar. Free Tory. But if I start calling you names, then you're gonna sue. After this little clapback reference to the lawsuit, Rob sounded off again on his own platform.
So I'm sitting there like, oh, we got jokes. A little bit of name calling, but we got jokes. I got jokes too. But I gotta watch what I say, because he might sue. Can't call no names.
Rather than simply feeding into the drama, he ultimately suggested he was above it.
I don't do personal attacks. I don't call anybody out their name. We all here just talking music. We talking hip-hop. I just call it like I said. I also keep it all about the music. So all that abs, braids, family court, all that stuff, like I stay away from it. If it's not like directly involved with the music, I tend to stay away. And I never lied to y'all one time. Y'all may not agree with my opinion, but when it comes to facts, I don't lie. Never lied to y'all. 21 years in this thing, never lied to the people not once. So here's my thing. I know the storyline's going to attract a new energy, new viewers, just a whole lot of new whatever, right, to what I'm doing. But for me, nothing changes. You know, a great writer once wrote, gotta know yourself. And I know myself, man. After this, I'm not coming on here with no axe to grind or just being disrespectful, because that's not me. But this hip-hop thing, this dedication to telling our stories the right way, the best way we can, yeah, that's me. And we all spend a lot of time online, so we know what happens next, right? There's gonna be a lot of fan accounts, a lot of bots, a lot of negativity, a bunch of lies spread. I could see some stories being planted and all that. That's just the game today, but you're not gonna catch me acting out of character.
Interestingly, he also said that there was some private correspondence between the two, which he has opted to keep under wraps.
Yeah, you got jokes, I got jokes too. So despite the interaction, despite the DM that he sent me last night, that I'm gonna keep that to myself. But despite that, I'm not gonna change who I am. I'm not gonna act out of character or come up here with an axe to grind, because this shit is about, to me, this shit is about hip-hop. It's about us. It's about all of us. I always talk about hip-hop being communal. You know what I'm saying? This channel is nothing without the people who watch it. Your favorite rapper is nothing without the people who listen and who genuinely and truly support.
The incident didn't merely blow over either, as others in the space were aggravated by what they deemed an unprovoked attack on Markman.
Rob Markman a goof. Rob Markman is comfortable in his skin. Never did nothing wrong to nobody.
Rob Markman has been one of the most fair people to cover and has so much more integrity than most people in the media. There are plenty of goofs that Drake has aligned himself with simply because they blindly follow everything he does. Rob is just not that. But whether or not you agree with how he treated Rob or not, this latest butting of heads with the journalist makes one thing clear. Drake's days of playing ball with the hip-hop media are essentially dead and buried. For some people who are inclined to give Drake the benefit of the doubt, it's because he's done attempting to fight through their agendas. For others, the argument would be that hip-hop media just won't cut him some slack he'll receive in other areas. And among the ranks of journalists and authors on hip-hop culture, this explains his pivot to streamers and comedians over anyone in the media. In the view of Samaya Krishnamurthy, these new avenues he's opened up function better in terms of what he's looking to achieve. And these days, that's getting hold of the narrative after the most turbulent period of his career.
And I think for him doing Bobby Aldoff's podcast, it's a perfect place for him. She's not going to put anything out there that makes Drake look bad. She's going to softball him. Everything's going to be about him in a positive light. Critique is viewed in a negative manner. It's like critique equals hating. But in fact, the best critics, they come from a place of love. The reason so many of us wanted to be hip-hop journalists is because we love hip-hop. So it's so much easier to surround yourself with sycophants, surround yourself on platforms that are essentially there to be your press release.
Whereas in a conversation with someone like Bobby Altoff, he can address the tough issues on his terms without any pushback.
You're a culture vulture, or like you know, like people will describe the collaborative efforts that I've put forth and the artists that I've picked up and lifted up or shine a light on as me taking, you know, they'll put a negative spin on it and try and tell me, you know, that it's a self-serving thing or whatever. And I think I get really sensitive about that. And I think at that moment I was just like, well, you know what? Don't even worry about it.
Above all else, this seems to be the common theme in what Drake looks for in a media personality to do business with these days. For example, his trip to XQC Stream let him get shots off with no attempt at intervention.
Yo, chat, love, biggest sixer. Don't ever forget it. Don't ever forget it. Let these guys try and tell you different. Promise. Trust me, like I said, mind, body, and soul up here. What's up, Jesse? Love, thank you. This guy's like a fragile op, but it's a good song, though. You know?
It's a fragile op. Okay, interesting.
It's like a fragile op, but it's a good song, though.
What does that mean, a fragile op? No.
Chat knows what I'm talking about.
To my
fragility.
Yeah, interesting, actually.
Hey, we need, no.
Yeah.
You, alright, I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah,
if I come back.
Good script.
This is fragile op. It's insane.
Damn.
Elsewhere, Aiden Ross let him get off his jabs at Kata, even sunning him on his own platform when he felt like it.
Hey, they were saying that you pressed me earlier, like that. Like you're like, why do you want to know where they're from? So like, what's up, bro? Huh? They were saying like you tried pressing me, like, why are you trying to big bro me? I already accept the fact you're big bro. But at the same time, you know, I gotta stand up for myself.
Goofy ass, you can't fight that pussy.
It's alright. It's big bro, little bro energy, but
nah, it's all good. I'm not never pressing you. You're my dog. Come on, press someone for you, though.
Oh, you will?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you, pussy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Would you ever get in there?
No.
What's the bag to get you in there?
What's the bag?
Yeah.
Who do you want? Oh, I don't know even ask.
Eddie, we want
you want me to fight?
Oh, I know. I want you to
I wouldn't do that. If we're fighting, we'll fight at Hino's gym or something like behind closed garage doors.
Yeah, you don't gotta really.
All the while, anything he's done that's controversial or perhaps questionable gets largely ignored. And this, in the eyes of Math Hoffa, is why he's evading the hip-hop media.
This is a great look for Bobby. Is it a great look for Drake? I think Drake has been ducking hip-hop media. I think there's so many things that I would love to ask him right now that he might not enjoy answering. You know what I'm saying? I think it might not be the best look for him. Like, if you went on Drink Champs, he got lit, started talking about, definitely feel like Drake has been taken, like he's just mad at all of us. He's mad at all of us.
Although it doesn't look plausible that he'll ever return to talk to Budden, Charlemagne, or anyone else like that, Rory still thinks there are ways he can engage with more conventional outlets, while Maul thinks there's no way to finally quell the narrative.
I can be objective and understand why Drake would want to avoid hip-hop media or avoid any real conversation until the time is right of when that album comes out and he does want to address everything. But, perception is still a thing.
Who would you like to hear him with?
If Drake went to Drink Champs tomorrow, I'd be ecstatic. If Drake went to Hot 97 tomorrow, I'd be ecstatic. If Drake went to Charlemagne tomorrow, I'd be ecstatic.
No matter who you want Drake to sit with, once he sits with them, people are going to say, oh, they didn't ask him this, he didn't talk about that, he didn't address. And even if he does, even if they ask all the questions that we all want to hear answers to, however Drake answers it, people are going to feel a way about that.
Listen,
there's going to be think pieces about his answers. There's going to be clips about his answers and his streams about how come he didn't answer this. It's like everybody just shut the up.
Somebody perfect right now, Angie Martinez.
If he goes to sit with Angie, you know what they'll say? Why he didn't go to Charlemagne? Why he didn't go to this way?
And beyond that, things are now too far gone that no matter what Drizzy does, there are some people who will never alter their viewpoint.
Talking to Drake on camera.
Why is that?
It's not gonna satisfy any fucking body. No matter what he says, no matter what he does, no matter what album he puts out, people already have in their mind that don't like Drake and that don't like. Cool. It doesn't matter what he says. So when people get all worked up about him announcing who he's sitting down talking to, I'm just laughing because I'm like, no matter who he talks to, people are still gonna feel a way about it.
With Drake now basically renouncing the whole media attached to the genre he came up in, Drake's focus on streamers and internet personalities has been met with a mixed response. What Kendrick said, you can't fake influence. Kendrick stayed out the way and let his music speak speak for itself. This grown dude is almost 40 and is trying to get approval from 20-something-year-olds. This strikes on one of the biggest issues with the new ties to people who made their name on Twitch and Kick, and his idea that he's pandering to their audiences. Even his known cheerleader, Ack, can see through the reasons why he's latching onto this blossoming market, but that ultimately he's slightly out of the age bracket.
They always say Drake is at a fork in the road. They're like, Drake is seeking and probably chasing some of these newer audiences. However, they'll never love him like how they love the current guy that represents them. Like, for example, my favorite artist of all time in hip-hop is Drake. That's not Kai Cenat's favorite artist, right? His favorite artist is A Boogie. I don't think if A Boogie dropped something, Kai Cenat would be saying, this is I think
his favorite artist A Boogie?
I
wouldn't even notice that, because I ain't never seen him talk about A Boogie.
Also, the old media that wants Drake don't want them. It's a bunch of people that are trying to get to either platforms or audiences that intuitively don't want them, and it just kind of goes in. It's like the symbolism of life. Usually in life, whatever you want at the time doesn't want you, and it is what it is. You get what I'm saying?
In a rare case of him really critiquing Drake's strategic
they already have a Drake and Blackboy match. I don't know if I've seen it. I remember
isn't organic in a way that's only going to hurt him in the long run.
Or is that audience? And it's more of a profound, like, well, when that audience or the person that controls that platform kind of rejects whatever he was doing. And it just reminded me of that saying that says, listen, the more as time goes on, the more you try to appeal to a particular demo, they'll never love you as much as they love the current guy.
Because if he's only trying to appeal to the hyperactive audience associated with streaming, then it's ultimately going to box him in creatively.
Or maybe what's going on contractually with you, or where you are in your life, you're about to turn 40. His audience don't want to hear that shit. You feel what I'm saying? So it's unfortunate. Like, they don't want to see some interest.
Is it a cookie or is it
right? They want quick turn up Molly music. And by the way, Drake does a good job of doing that.
But it's like, damn, Drake.
It also shows
everybody bitches.
For me,
everybody bitches jewelry.
Some hip hop heads believe this was a misfire.
You dogging every nigga out.
That would have rolled with him behind closed doors.
Who knows what the fuck
you like the old man at the club trying to impress the kids. Above all, the biggest problem is that sacrificing hip hop media ties to focus on streamers may have all been for nothing. Because if he was concerned that the media couldn't be coerced into doing his bidding or putting forth his viewpoint, it looks like the same might go for streamers.
Drake is like a bully, nigga.
Trashing the Iceman 3 drop.
That nigga been bullying everybody.
Rapper he was reacting
they gotta bring a whole village just to bring this nigga down. He been bullying everybody.
The biggest waste of my goddamn. R.I.P. to Armani.
Iceman, I heard. I listen to that shit, but I don't know what the fuck.
I can't fake it. That was ass. I can't fake it. I actually can't fake it. That was so ass.
I don't understand
what Drake's whole point of Iceman was. But Cenat's own fans were by no means shocked to hear him focus on authenticity first and relationships second. Kai didn't slam Drake. He slammed his new music in stream because he was being honest. It sucked. Reminder, he's a Drake fan, but he's not a lying Drake propaganda machine like academics and Aiden. He's ultimately accountable to his audience, not Drake. Now, his fans are gassing him up once more to go to war with Kai over what he said, demanding Drake be treated with the respect they deem he deserves.
I can't fake it. I actually can't fake it. That was so ass.
You sit there, the dude does this whole thing, and you go, that was ass. Now, it's one thing, bro. It's one thing to be like, oh, you know what? Like, if you want to give it a rating, like, oh, that was a 6 out of 10 or that, whatever. Like, respectfully, right? But when you just go to someone's art and go, that shit was ass, that's literally fighting words, bro. That's literally and it's like, it just is. And the reason I say art is because that's what it was, bro. And I love that people go like, oh, dude, that didn't even make sense. But meanwhile, if it was K-Bot, what the you say? There'd be entire hour-long breakdowns of each frame. Oh, did you see when Kendrick was facing the right? That's because of the comp, dude.
Although, if he wants to retain the love of the streaming world, then coming at its current king really isn't the strategy he should opt for. particularly when he's already burnt so many bridges in the hip-hop content space that he's written it off once and for all. Whether Drake likes it or not, his disavowal of people like Budden, Charlemagne, Wilson, and Markman doesn't change the fact that he will always be within their content agenda. And perhaps even more distressingly for him, their opinions will continue to be valued by the very audiences that he's fighting to retain the love of. Now left out on a limb, Drake is proving that he doesn't need hip-hop media. But that doesn't mean aligning with the youth-led influencer and streamer world is going to do anything positive for his public image as he continues to age before our eyes, particularly when he's given the middle finger to an entire industry that now has no reason not to want him to fail when he's made it deeply personal time and time again. And if you're wondering why this video didn't mention his beef with the Needle Drops Anthony Fantano, well, that's because we already discussed it with the video on the screen.
Alright, we back. So he dismissed the lawsuit. I don't know. Like I said, man, Drake might not have no friends in the industry. He ain't friends with none of the rappers no more. All the rap media, he don't fuck with none of the rap media. You know what I'm saying? He probably don't even stay in America half the time. He probably moved to stay in Canada, Australia, or some weird shit. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Drake has kind of fully disconnected himself from like the black culture as far as the rap game, because I feel like he think like it's a lose-lose. If I help him out, they hate me. If I don't help him out, they hate me. Nigga, I might as well stay to myself and just make my own shit. If they fuck with me, they fuck with me. If they don't, they don't. And I just mind my fucking business. But Drake is such a troller, bro. He loves starting petty beef. He love beef, man. He just love beef. And he just likes to start the shit. But like I said, man, I hope everything turns out right, man. And yeah, he didn't even drop that lawsuit. But like I said, man, these people are the UMG, the label, all that shit. That shit is on some weird freaky shit. People gotta stay woke with that shit. But at the end of the day, man, it is what it is. He used it, and they using it, and now you can't get mad because they both using it now. But you've been using it. But I don't know if he's been using it out. But you get what I'm saying? We have to be hood and outside, big crip and gang outside shit.
Hey, Dad, you know, dog, when we link up, dog, this shit be legendary. You know this is instrumental, you the engineer on it, so Kodak everywhere.